Hello, this is Doug Heath coming at you once again from the Black Business Experience, the show for black businesses, about black businesses. We're going to shift gears a little bit today. We have the esteemed Tommy Calvert Sr., TC, otherwise known as, and he's going to be here with us. We're going to talk about some things. I'm going to start off with the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. It was started by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. And T.C. Calvert was at that Million Man March and actually was one of the ones that helped spearhead the Million Man March effort in San Antonio. T.C., can you tell us a little bit about things back then?
Well, thank you, Doug. First of all, I want to thank BVN for having me on and
Yes, sir.
for you hosting the show. Yes, back then, 20 years ago, we were excited to go to Washington, D.C. for the Million Man March. It was over 1 million people there. It was about 2 million people.
They tried to downplay that,
Yeah,
but
it was about 2 million people there. I had a great team here in San Antonio to help me.
Okay.
The late Charles Shannon worked with us on that
Mr.
issue.
Shannon was a great man, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
and we also had Dr. Leo Edwards,
Yes, sir.
who has a historical perspective and well-documented history of the Million Man March for Atonement. Since that time, as you well know, great things have happened, but at the same time, we still have some of the same issues impacting us.
So we got the
now.
20th anniversary is coming up. And so what do you think has changed? I mean, it seems to me like some things you could even make the case that
Right.
some things have even gotten worse. I mean, if I recall, people could vote back then. We had a lot of time on early voting days, more early voting days. We had more polling places, and it just seems like things have just gotten worse. I mean, what do you got to say
Well,
about
20
that?
years ago, during the Million Man March, we didn't have voter ID suppression in the state of Texas like we have now.
Today, right.
So, well, one of the things I think that is very important to this community and to a lot of the listeners out there is that the voter ID law is a voter suppression law.
Yes,
It's
it
just
is.
as simple as that. And it's basically geared toward Hispanics, people, African American descent, as well,
Seniors.
and seniors who don't
Yes, sir.
drive.
That's right.
And so if they don't drive, then, why should they have the ID? So the point is that the reason you see the voting not being the way it is
Right.
because a lot of those people, because of the voter ID law and because they don't have a photo ID, they don't go
They
vote.
don't go vote. And then the problem is, it has hurt us really in the local elections. Those people that actually impact the things that we do and the things that impact our daily lives, like the healthcare, for instance.
Sure.
A lot of states, New York, Illinois, California, they're in the healthcare exchange.
Right.
The state of Texas is not in the healthcare exchange. As a result of that, a lot of people in Texas still don't have healthcare. What do you have to say
Well,
about
as you
that?
know, Brother Heath, the state of Texas leads the nation as one of the most uninsured,
that's-
people that are uninsured without health care. And we're having to pay for it when they have to go to the emergency room.
Yes.
And
The
that's all
cost of
thing.
emergency room is tremendous.
It's tremendous, and we would hope that Governor Abbott and the members of the Republican Party would see the light and embrace the health care issue.
Yeah, and the thing that really compounds that, those folks that go to the healthcare, to go to the emergency room, pardon me, to get healthcare,
Yes.
they get the big, huge, outrageous healthcare bills,
Absolutely.
which further encumber them.
Yes, right.
Then they can't go out and buy food and other things because their credit is bad. It's just a snowball that further puts people in need behind the 8 ball.
Well, I would think that the health care issue, you have people talking about repeal. I think a lot of people are very upset at the fact that, we really have a do-nothing Congress.
They do.
And right now, the Congress is just kind of at a stalemate.
They're
not doing anything. They're basically opposing our president on most
On
of the
every
issues.
corner.
On every corner they have. But
It would be one thing if the Congress people didn't have Obamacare themselves.
Exactly.
What's our friend's name down here, the Canadian guy who just became a Texan?
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz signed his family up for Obamacare.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that something?
And
And that another thing that gets me too is I know 20 years ago, it seems like the minorities, African Americans and Latinos were more actively involved. And I think that, the Black Lives Matter is a good thing nowadays.
Oh, absolutely.
But it seems like even though Black Lives Matter, and that's great, and I'm really happy we've got that going on, every day we seem to get more and more people accosted by police, and nothing seems to be done about it. The 17-year-old that got 9 people,
Right.
police officers, beating him down on his way to school, and found out that he's got some deficiency, mental deficiency.
Well, as you well know, the city and the county has received funding to get body
cameras,
cameras
okay.
in Bexar County for Bexar County sheriff's officers, but their process has been very slow.
Very slow.
And then also the city of San Antonio, as you know, there's a front page article in today's Express News about the city of San Antonio being able to move forward on their body camera program. And I think community policing is the way to go.
And I was glad to see that San Antonio is making a great effort toward community policement. They're actually doing some specialized training in that area.
Right.
And I think that's a great thing. So, but those issues that still exist, and when you look at the 20 years ago, the minimum wage was what?
I think it was $5.25.
And $5.25,
$6.25.
$6.25.
It was low.
It's low.
It's very low.
But when you account for inflation and everything else, $7.50 or $7.75.
People can't live.
You can't live off of that.
Look, a person with a family of four, working, at $10 an hour can't really support a family. Can't pay the bills. Can't do medical. Can't do what you need to do. So we're really pushing during this 20th anniversary that there be a living wage of at least $15 an hour for people to move forward.
Well,
So
Governor Bush said,
I want to thank Cops and Metro Alliance for taking the lead in San Antonio, along with some of the union organizations, to pressure the county and the city to up the living wage.
But now Governor Bush said that, who's running for president, as you know, and keeping the Bush legacy alive.
Yeah.
He said all people need to do is work harder and longer.
Well, that's because he's a privileged person. And so people who are privileged and, who have money can make comments and statements like that.
So if I work 80 hours a week at $7.50 an hour, $7.75 an hour, I'm not going to be better off?
A junior boy over in the neighborhood who lives over on the west side or the east side or the south side or somewhere in Kenwood, he can't pay his bills working for $10 an hour. So that's tough. When you do that, as you well know, a lot of these families have 2 or 3 jobs.
That's true.
Once they get off one job, they have to go to another
That's true.
job.
And that creates the whole problem that we have with the youth, in school and truancy and the juvenile justice issues that we have. And so it just seems that the further we go, the further we have to go. And you would think that with this being the 20th anniversary, that some of these issues we wouldn't still be rehashing the same things over and over and over again. And now it even seems like we had a little bit of a controversy about our own the greatest march representation of Dr. King in the country. Here in San Antonio, we have the biggest march in the country. We almost had a big controversy about that.
It's the biggest march on the planet.
On the planet, there we go.
So it's not the state of Texas, not San Antonio. It's the biggest march planet. And I'm proud, Doug, to have worked very closely with Reverend Callis and to be a part of the original march organizers and one of the logistics people. We grew that march because it was inclusive.
It still is inclusive.
It still is inclusive, and we would make sure that if you want homeless people to be a part of the march, you put the homeless people at the front of the march. If you want gay people to be a part of the march, then you put the lesbian gay community at the front of the march, and not allow a bunch of politicians who haven't been out on a picket line or have defended welfare mothers.
But that shows how successful it is, because politicians do come out for that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, we've always had an element, and I want to make this clear to the people who are listening to the show.
Okay.
There's always been an element, even back when Reverend Callis was around, who wanted to turn the march away from the issues.
Okay.
And who always wanted to make the march into a fiesta event and not to deal with the issues. People need to understand the march is about the issues. It's about voter ID. It's about voter registration. I'm involved in voter registration in the march.
Voter registration is huge.
Transportation, making sure that people get there safely by using park and ride. So voter registration, health care, Black Lives Matters, these are some of the issues that still impact us today.
And we have to work hard. We need everybody's support.
Support on these particular issues.
I want to just let you know that my big thing is I want to see voters registration just go beyond the march and go right up into the election, because that's where they get us. We have little periods.
The Neighborhood First Alliance does voter registration 365, 24/7.
All right.
And so we do voter registration all the time.
We want to make sure that we let people know about that. Now, Brother TC, if people are interested in getting a hold of you and maybe having you come speak to them, how can people get a hold of you?
They can call me at 210-226 9041. I have the same number. I've had that number for almost 40 years.
Yes, yeah.
And you can contact me at Neighborhoods. Make sure you put an S on Neighborhoods. First, FIRST, Alliance, ALLIANCE, at yahoo.com. Again, that's Neighborhoods First Alliance at yahoo.com.
TC, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is Doug Heath from the Black Business Experience coming at you once again. We'll see you next time. And remember, if you're not making sense, you're not making dollars, you're not making sense, and everybody wants to make sense. See you next time.